Hi everyone, trust you're doing well. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Roslyn Wanjiko. What do we do here? Personal development, relationship, and spiritual wellness matters. But on today's episode, we are doing something quite different, something very sentimental and heartfelt. Because today I just came on here to hold space for you, I just came on here to allow you to be the victim for once. I know you've been asked time and again to be strong, or rather, just life has required of you to be strong. But I want you to be gracefully broken on this episode with me, and I want you to acknowledge where you're hurting, and I want you to heal from that hurt. That trauma you have had, you've carried for a long time that you didn't cause yourself, right? And so I'm really sorry, my dear, that you are brought into a world that is broken, a world that is messed up without your permission, and yet there is an expectation of you to carry all these burdens and to get out of that mess all by yourself. I'm sorry that you had to lose an integral part or person in your life, probably your parent, at maybe a very early age, and you are brought up by people who didn't care as much, and you had to be at the mercies of everybody, and because of that you're broken on the inside. Because of that you're fighting things people do not understand, and all you get is you're not the first person to lose an important person, and therefore you have to be strong. I just came in on here to remind you that your feelings are valid, and I know the normal thing for a human being to do is to try and deal with pain, but in very many different ways. You could have dealt with that pain in a very rebellious way, and now people don't like you. You are considered a social rebel, you're considered a person who does not fit into the society, so you're running from yourself, you're running from the society, you're running and you're tired. I'm really sorry that had to be your story. I'm sorry that the very person who needed to take care of you, probably your parent, rejected you. I'm sorry that they spread that narrative to people that's around you. I'm sorry that your siblings also considered you as a black sheep, because the very person who should have taken care of you showed them that you're not worthy, and now all you do out here is trying to please people and to affirm yourself and to try and convince them that you're good enough, to try convince them that you can sit at the same table with them and speak sense, to try and convince them that there is something much more than that narrative that they were told by your very caregiver. I'm really sorry that you always have to try and beg people so that you may exist in the same space as them and experience the same love and respect. I'm really sorry. Your feelings are valid, and that outcry as an adult that feels like a child all the time, they don't understand your emotions, they don't understand your behavior, all because you are trying to be seen, right? I'm really sorry that had to be your story up until now. I'm really sorry that you grew up in a dysfunctional home, you saw abuse, and there was so much fear inflicted in you, and you just really had to hide, and you couldn't express your emotions because don't know how they were going to be handled, because all you saw was abuse, all you saw was neglect. And so up until today, all you do is hide your emotions because you have trust issues. You don't know who will take your emotions for granted. You don't know who will take your emotions and take advantage of them and use them against you. I'm really sorry that has to be your story up until now. I'm really sorry that you found yourself in a less privileged family, a family where education was something that you only dreamt of. Good education, good food, a comfortable place to sleep in. I'm really sorry. And up until now, you're still struggling to get yourself out there, to be seen, to become something, make something out of yourself. I'm really sorry that has to be your story. And people probably think you're lazy, or people think you're not reasonable enough, you're not smart enough to to understand the principles and dynamics of thriving out here, and yet probably they were born with a silver spoon in their mouths. Others just got lucky, got lucky enough, and they went out there and things worked for them. I'm really sorry that you have to keep fighting to get there in a world that is strange, in a world that you didn't wish for yourself. I'm really sorry. All your feelings are validated. How you feel right now, those moments when you have felt like you're unfairly treated, those moments when you felt rejected, those moments when you don't even understand where God is. I'm really sorry for everything that you have been feeling, and I know that it's difficult to get out of that trauma. It's difficult to get out of that space of doubting whether it's gonna be okay, it's ever gonna be okay. I don't know about tomorrow, but one thing I know is that it's possible even here to make lemonade out of your lemons. I know you've tried. I understand it's been a long time trying. I know it feels bad to have nothing working, relationships not working, jobs not working. I know it can get exhausting and tiring, and the only thing you want to do is give up. I'm sorry that sometimes all that you are is as a result of your genetics. You took after somebody, but nobody gets it. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that you're considered as a person who is not good enough for the society. I'm sorry that a spirit of rejection has followed you for such a long time, but I want to tell you that sometimes it is what happens to you that is meant to be your breakthrough. These words might not make sense, but I want you to dare yourself again. I want you to bet on yourself again today. I want you to get down to business and think about all those things that you feel have been happening against you, or rather have been happening to you. I want you to think about it. I want you to even take a pen and a paper and write it down. If it has been rejection, write it down. If it has been failure, write it down. And I want you to take it to the Lord again. See, I'm a person who believes that when it's God's time, things do actually change. And I want you to remember the story of Joseph. I know it's not somebody you know, but I know you know of a story of somebody who's moved from a pathetic situation to a great person, and that person can be you as well. It doesn't matter how many times you've tried, but I want you to bet on yourself again. And by the grace of God, I want you to bet on God most importantly. And I pray that God is in this conversation, and I pray that He's going to extend special kind of grace in this video, that even as you bet on Him again, as you believe on Him again, as you cast that net again, that He's going to change your story from that mess that it has been for a very long time to a message. So I was talking about Joseph, and Joseph was born, and when he was born, his brothers obviously did not like him. But it was not his fault that he was born under that circumstance, where the father seemed to like the mother more. It was not his fault. But his brothers got jealous. It was not his fault that he was gifted in a certain way. But because of that, he was sidelined by his very own brothers, and he was sold. And he would have thought, my God, why have you forsaken me? He was taken to prison. He was taken to a distant land away from his family. But it was all happening for him. At the end of the day, he became the savior of that family. My dear, the rejected stone can still be the cornerstone. You can still be the cornerstone. With all your problems, with all your hurt, you can still be the cornerstone the society has always needed to build a farmhouse, right? So I want to remind you today that you can still bet on yourself, honey. I just want you to remember that even when you have given up on yourself, God will not give up on you. I know those words might not make sense right now, but I want you to remember, put this up at the back of your mind, because when the time is right, He will make things beautiful for you. Thank you for staying strong. Thank you for crying through the night and daring to want to see a new day. We have seen people commit suicide. We have seen people do crazy stuff, but you have still stood strong regardless of the rejection, regardless of the failures, regardless of all these things. You have stood strong, and I pray that that energy you have put into living and doing it with hope, it will not be a waste, that it will make some sense to you someday, and that day is not too far. So remember, this month of September, where we were trying to create awareness on prevention of suicide. Remember, your life matters. Remember, sometimes when you think it's the end, it's really the beginning. So kindly share this video to any person you feel has been feeling some type of way, any person you feel has been almost giving up on life. Remind them that they can bet on themselves again, and most importantly, they can bet on God. And even in this video, we are betting on God that He will change your story, that where you are written off, He will rewrite that destiny to the glory and honor of His name. Thank you for staying with me. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's continue to encourage one another. Let's continue to speak life, because you are a gift, and it's gonna be necessary for you to stay here with us to express all that you are to the society. Bye bye.